Most people think crows are just birds, dark feathers, sharp beaks, loud noises in the distance. But what if I told you that somewhere above your street, on a telephone wire or hidden in the branches of a silent tree, there may be a crow that remembers a human face from years ago, not just recognizes it, remembers it, the way you moved, the way you looked at it, whether you were kind or cruel. Scientists have tested this in ways that sound almost impossible. In one famous experiment, researchers wore specific masks while trapping crows for a short time. Years later, those same crows, and even new crows that had never seen the event, reacted aggressively to the exact same faces. They screamed warnings. They followed the humans. Some even gathered other crows, as if sharing information across generations. Think about that for a second. An animal flying freely in the sky, carrying memories of human behavior for years, not because it was trained, not because it was forced, but because it chose to remember. And suddenly the world becomes stranger than most people realize, because while humans walk through life believing they are unnoticed, nature may be quietly watching everything. Crows are not emotional in the way humans are. They don't hold grudges because of ego. Their memory is survival, precision, pattern recognition. They study danger, they observe consistency, and once they classify someone as a threat, they rarely forget it. But the truly unsettling part is this: crows also remember kindness. People who regularly feed them often notice strange behavior over time. A crow begins waiting nearby, watching from rooftops, following from tree to tree. Some even bring small objects back, shiny fragments, bottle caps, pieces of metal, almost like primitive gifts. Not because they understand money or value, but because they understand exchange, relationship, familiarity. There are stories of children who fed crows for years, only to have those same birds return long after moving away. Stories of elderly people surrounded by silent crows every morning at the exact same hour. And while some dismiss these as coincidences, researchers studying crow intelligence have repeatedly discovered something difficult to ignore. These birds possess one of the most advanced memories in the animal kingdom. A memory connected not just to food, but to identity, to humans themselves. What makes crows truly fascinating is not only intelligence, but awareness. They solve puzzles that confuse other animals. They use tools. They bend wires into hooks to retrieve food. They drop nuts onto roads and wait for cars to crack them open before collecting the pieces safely at traffic lights. Some crows even understand water displacement, solving problems once thought to be uniquely human. But intelligence alone does not explain the feeling people get when a crow stares directly at them. There is something disturbingly focused in their eyes, as if they are calculating, measuring, observing details most creatures ignore. In many cultures throughout history, crows became symbols of mystery, prophecy, death, wisdom, or hidden knowledge. Ancient civilizations watched them carefully because they appeared too aware to be ordinary birds. In Norse mythology, Odin himself was accompanied by two ravens, Hugin and Munin, representing thought and memory. Every day they flew across the world gathering information before returning to whisper what they had seen. And strangely, modern science almost echoes that myth, because crows do gather information. They do communicate. They do remember, not only places, but people. Researchers discovered that when crows identify a dangerous human, they often alert other crows with specific calls. Those warnings spread through entire groups. Young crows learn from older ones. A human who harms one crow may unknowingly become recognized by dozens. Imagine walking through a park thinking you are anonymous while the birds above already know your face. Already decided whether you are safe or dangerous. The unsettling reality is that crows may understand human behavior better than humans understand theirs. They notice routines, weaknesses, emotional patterns. People who act aggressively toward animals often reveal the same traits toward humans. Nature observes character long before society does, and perhaps that is why crows provoke such fascination, because they force humans to confront a terrifying possibility. Intelligence is not exclusive to mankind. There are minds moving silently through the natural world that think, adapt, communicate, and remember in ways we are only beginning to understand. But there is another side to this story that few people talk about. Crows do not simply survive near humans. In many cities, they thrive because they learned how humans behave. They understand garbage schedules better than some people do. They recognize traffic patterns. They know which neighborhoods are safer, which humans feed them, which children throw rocks, which dogs are dangerous. In Japan, crows learned to use crosswalk systems to crack walnuts safely using passing cars. They wait for red lights before retrieving the food. Think about how unnatural that sounds. A wild animal adapting itself to human systems with almost strategic precision. And perhaps the creepiest part is how quietly they do it. Most people never notice them, never realize the same crow may have watched them leave home every morning for months. There are reports of crows appearing outside windows after repeated interactions, almost like they are tracking familiar individuals. Scientists caution against exaggeration, but even they admit something extraordinary is happening in the crow brain. Their neurons are densely packed in ways surprisingly efficient for problem solving. Some researchers compare aspects of crow intelligence to primates. Not because crows think exactly like humans, but because evolution found another path toward advanced cognition. A completely different creature, arriving at forms of memory, learning, and strategy that feel almost disturbingly familiar. And maybe that is why humans feel uneasy around them. A pigeon looks harmless, a sparrow looks fragile, but a crow feels aware, ancient, intentional. When one stares at you from a rooftop in complete silence, it feels less like an animal reacting instinctively, and more like a witness observing you. Perhaps that feeling comes from deep instinct, buried inside humanity itself. For thousands of years, humans lived beside intelligent predators, scavengers, and observers. We evolved under the constant awareness of being watched by nature. And crows, with their black feathers and calculating eyes, still trigger that ancient sensation. The feeling that the world is not empty, that something out there remembers. So the next time you see a crow perched above a quiet street, tilting its head as you pass by, remember this: you may already exist inside its memory. Not as a stranger, but as a pattern, a face, a behavior, a story carried silently through the sky.